Record. All right. What is up, guys? Welcome to another Elite Self client interview. Today we have Mr. Michael on the call with us today. How's it going, man?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for your time today. And so, what we're going to do here is just ask Michael a few questions just to go through his experience in the program and his progress and celebrate his wins. And Michael already did a client interview after the level one program, which is our entry level 6 month program, and he crushed it. And now he just finished our level two program, and he crushed it even further. And so we're gonna get an updated client interview with him and go over his progress. And so for those of the viewers that didn't see your original interview and know nothing about you, could you just give us a backstory and kind of like your fitness journey over the last 10, 20 years, just like what you were struggling with? What did this look like for you? What were you trying to do? What were your struggles? What were your challenges? Kind of how did that whole picture look?
Sure, yeah. So previously I was a chef, so always around food. Got really interested in health and wellness as it relates to food. So like cooking for the keto diet, gluten-free, sugar-free, diabetic food. Um, and I could help other people lose weight, but I couldn't really lose weight myself. Um, Regardless of like kind of how I ate or what I ate, I felt like I was just constantly in a cycle of I could lose a lot of weight at one time and then I would just pack it back on and I would do the same thing over and over again. And didn't understand why nothing was really changing, even though the scale was moving back and forth.
Mm. And what do you think your challenges were with, like, you lost the weight? What do you think your challenges were with sustaining and improving upon that weight loss long term?
I think the challenge really was for me, I could do extreme diets and I could do them
Mm.
very, very well, but only for a specific amount of time before I would eventually give up. And then I would revert and kind of like make up for lost time. Um, Food has always been really important to me in my life, but I think sometimes, especially when it becomes your career, it's really easy for it to be a distraction. You celebrate with food. When you're sad, you eat food. When you're happy, you eat food. You eat food when you're bored.
Yeah.
Um, so when it was my job, I feel like I was just constantly like thinking about food, and I just wanted every meal to be amazing.
Mm. Understood. Got you. And were you kind of like on the overweight side of things for like your whole life, more or less? How did that look
Yeah,
for
I mean, I've always been a little bit heavier. I hate the word when people would be like, "You're husky," like
you?
I'm like I'm a wolf. Like, what are you talking about? But no, I've been on the heavier side, and I think I'm kind of blessed with it. I can hide it, sort of. Um, so you know, looking in the mirror with like my shirt off is something that was really difficult for me at one time because I actually can't hide anymore. I can hide it in
Mm.
my clothes, but I can't hide my body from myself.
Mm, yeah, understood. And at what point did you start considering getting external help to accomplish your goals?
I think it was around the last time that I had lost about 50 pounds and I had put it back on within 3 months. And I thought this is like absolute insanity. Like I don't understand like why I can put in all this work and be successful, but then just go right back to what I've been doing before and nothing has really changed.
Understood. And what helped you gravitate towards myself and my program as far as in compared to like all the other ones out there?
I think the one thing that really stood out with me for you is when I that you had shown a video about using your phone for I think it was like 2 hours a day, and that added up over the course of a year was like a month of your life gone.
Mm,
And I just couldn't get over that because I'm sure I was on the phone for 2 hours a day, just scrolling and doing nothing. And I thought, even if it's more than 2 hours a day, what am I doing with this wasted time of my life where I could be out there doing what I actually want to do?
mm,
And you can't get that time back.
yeah,
And
understood.
that was really like the start of kind of like listening to what you had to say.
Mm. So it's like not just like the fitness stuff that drew you in, but kind of like the whole holistic self-development stuff as a whole.
Yes, and I think that led to fitness because it's something I wanted to be able to do. And I was thinking if I could use that month of time that I just threw away,
Mm,
on myself and on my body,
Right.
why wouldn't I?
Yeah. Awesome, man. Yeah, that's a great point. If you just use that time to get fit, a lot of people would be way more fit if they spent their scroll time on their fitness.
Yeah.
That makes sense, man. Okay. And heading into the program, what were your main goals and hopes and desires that you would achieve through the program?
I kind of didn't have or set expectations for it, but I was hoping at the bare minimum, I wanted to lose 50 pounds. That was like, I had a number in mind. It was very specific because it was the last weight that I had been. Um, and I wanted to get back to it and like start from there, if that makes sense. And that was like the focus of everything for me.
Mm, understood, understood. And did you have any hesitancy to joining a program? Were there any kind of like reservations you had or concerns just joining a program in general?
Yeah, I was thinking like how is this going to work online? Like how do you have like an online trainer and coach? Like this seems like too good to be true. Is this even going to last? And also I feel like especially with social media, you see a ton of people coming through that are like coaches and they have all these videos and everything too, which I actually love. I follow a lot because I feel like there's a lot of nuggets in there. But it's just like, is this going to be real? Is this going to
Mm,
happen to me?
understood. Yeah, totally understand. And what were your kind of favorite initial milestones that you hit, maybe in level one or going into level two? Like, what were your first kind of milestones that kind of got you pumped up and made you feel like, okay, like this is good.
So I think I've told you this before, but when we were starting my cardio, I used to get mad at you when you would add 5 minutes to my cardio because I was thinking, I can't even do the 30 minutes. How am I going to do 35? How am I going to get to 40? And like it was, I would literally get angry and say, I don't have time for this. Like, I don't have 5 more minutes to give for this. And like that kind of realization of how ridiculous it was and how I could actually keep going, that was like the first big step for me, realizing like 35 minutes isn't going to kill you. 40
Mm,
minutes isn't going to kill you. 45 isn't going to kill you. And you do have the time and you
yeah.
can enjoy it. It doesn't have to be miserable.
Yeah. How has that piece evolved for you? Looking at it first as like a complete chore and now starting to enjoy it.
Yeah, now I look forward to it. It's kind of like I wouldn't say it's a meditation because it requires a little bit more activity than meditation, but it's kind of an outlet.
Mm,
Um, I feel like I also told you this phrase that jumped out at me is like I used to cry, but now I sweat.
mm,
So I feel like I look for a channel to express through exercise, like kind of sometimes what I'm feeling. It really helps balance and stabilize my emotions, but also is like a good reset mentally.
got it. 100%, man. And as far as weight loss goes, you started at, I think around 315-ish was your first weigh-in, and now you're
Mhm.
down to 250, the 250s. And so how do you feel about your weight loss progress up until this point?
I have to say I'm surprised. I didn't expect to get below 260. I'd always kind of had an issue hovering around 260. I'll get there and then it jumps back up like 5 pounds, and I couldn't really get below that. So I'm absolutely thrilled to have broken down to 250. Um, and I didn't really think it was going to be possible or would happen. But something inside me kind of just clicked and I wanted it and I
Mhm.
wanted to work for it.
Mm, awesome, man. 100%. And what were either one or multiple of the main challenges you faced along the way, and how did you feel you overcame those?
Yeah, I think one of the main challenges for me is even with 50 pounds of weight that you're carrying, I feel like physical activity is hard and it's harder on your body. And every 5 to 10 pounds that you lose, that physical activity becomes a little bit easier and it feels a little bit better. And overcoming that is hard, but you kind of just have to do it. You have to put in the sweat and the tears and appreciate that it is hard so that when it's not, you still respect it.
Mm,
Um, And I think that was the hardest thing for me to do is like 30 minutes on the elliptical was difficult. And I didn't even use resistance or anything. It was just like getting on there and doing it. But after a week of doing it, after 3 weeks of doing it, I feel like, okay, I can do this.
Mm.
And then you can kind of increase slowly. And that is painful and it takes time, but that also builds discipline and resilience.
Yes, 100% it does, man. And yeah, you've had an incredible weight loss journey. You've also transformed mentally and physically and in ways on the inside as well. What do you feel like the non-physical wins you've had in the program are? In what ways do you feel as though you've changed on the inside?
Yeah, that I think is like the biggest surprise to me of working with you and working in this program is like I didn't expect any of that. Um, and I think it really started with all the exposure to different kinds of thoughts and philosophies around not just like self-help and self-improvement and bettering yourself, but in the readings that I would do for my positive inputs and like thinking and focusing on the positive things, I didn't expect anything to come out of it. And I feel like looking back, those kind of had the biggest impact on me in ways that I didn't even know they were impacting me. So it really changed my thought process, the way that I think about myself, the way that I think about working out,
Mhm.
kind of the internal conversation and dialogue that you have. I mean, obviously, it's not completely changed. I feel like that's always a work in progress, but I feel like there's been a lot of discussion with myself about, first of all, what do I really want? Am I allowed to want it? Can I allow myself to want it? And then kind of pursuing it.
Understood. Huge, man, huge. And obviously, like before you joined the program, sustaining the weight loss was one of your biggest challenges. And now you've gone through the system, you've learned lessons, you've developed on the inside, you developed new levels of discipline, you've attained new education, you've changed on the inside. How, in what ways do you feel you're now differently set up to actually sustain and improve upon the weight loss as opposed to just regress like you were doing before the program?
Yeah, I feel like it's funny because I'm almost not worried about it. And I hate to say that because it's like, well, it could just happen again, but I don't think it will happen again. I feel good in my body for the first time. I respect it. Um, Lifting and exercise is important to me, and it's something that I enjoy doing, which I never thought I would ever even be able to say that or think that. And I look at it as like time that I'm working on myself.
Mm,
So it's kind of like a self-fulfilling and self-feeding thing where it's like this is giving me it is like a positive input. Like I'm
yeah.
working on myself for myself. Um, and that gives me a peace of mind and it's something I kind of cherish and look forward to. And I think it will be something that I will use as a tool for a long time.
Awesome, man. Super glad to hear that. And obviously you've made a massive transformation. You're starting to see it yourself. Tell me about the differences you're starting to see in the mirror and also the differences other people are starting to see in you.
Yeah, I think it's funny because I'm the last person to kind of notice any physical changes in myself. So when I do, it's kind of shocking. And sometimes I would catch myself in the mirror recently, um, almost afraid for a second because I'm not sure who was in the bathroom with me.
Mm,
Um, it didn't look like me, or from the side, my silhouette looks different, and I what didn't recognize it. Um, and that to me is really cool. Not that I like to be afraid, but
yeah.
that's when I know something has changed and something is different. Especially when people, and it's not just like one time, which every once in a while, like you'll have that one person who's like, "Oh, you look really great," and you feel good about that comment. But when it's multiple people that are coming up to you unrelated separately, it's like, well, how do you not believe that? How do you
Mhm.
deny that like something is changing? And then you start noticing it in yourself. And I think by noticing that too, it's kind of like a self-feeding mechanism where it makes me more inspired
Mm,
um, to continue and to push myself and to keep going. Um, and I kind of use it as like a positive input. Like I
mm,
like to remind myself of it, but Now I'm seeing it in the mirror. I'm seeing it in my arms and in my chest specifically. And I look like a different person.
Mm,
And I feel like one too, but it's just kind of crazy to see in the mirror, like right in front of you.
yeah, yeah. Is it becoming more normal for you?
Yeah, it is. Especially even in the gym, sometimes there's like these mirrors that they don't reflect like a full mirror. It's kind of just like a dark reflection. And sometimes I'll catch a glimpse of myself in there too. And I don't think it's me. I
Mm,
actually think it's someone standing next to me. And I'll kind of like correct myself and correct my posture. But it's not like a looking directly in a mirror. It's just kind of more like a reflection. And that's happened a couple times. And I love that. I feel like I'm finally in the place where I'm looking the way that I want to look. Um, and I feel good. I don't feel like I'm just like following an extreme diet, getting some results, but still kind of feel the same.
mm. Awesome, man. And when you started the program, I'm sure you had thought patterns along the lines of like, I hope this is worth the money. I hope that, my hard-earned dollars are going to be, exchanged for an ROI on this investment for the progress that I'm looking for. How do you feel the return on investment has played out for you?
I think it's been a lot more than I expected to get back. Um, and I took it seriously too. I looked at that amount of money and I thought, you know what? If this is what I'm going to set aside for myself, like you're going to make it worthwhile. Um, so I kind of put a lot of it on myself as well as the program. But I wanted to make sure that from my perspective, like I don't get to cheat it. I don't get to like kind of just like make the motions and just go along and do it and expect things to happen. So I was really intentional about that. But I definitely got back so much more than I even anticipated. I just kind of expected workouts and like seeing um what calories I can eat and like different ways to move my body. And I feel like there's so much more to it that I didn't even consider. Like emotional aspects, thought patterns, like even identifying things. Anything is on the table and everything is like an onion that you get to peel back. And you never really touch on that with most trainers or coaching. It's kind of just like, well, how was your workout? How do you feel? What muscles did you use? Like, do you feel sore here or there? And that's it. I feel like there's so much more here to dig into that actually is directly related to everything about who you are and what you want in life that we don't usually get a chance to touch upon.
Right, exactly, man. Glad you resonated with that. And last but not least, what would you say to a version of yourself or another person that was maybe having a similar journey as you before you started, who's yo-yoing, is trying all these extreme things, maybe seeing a bit of progress, but always regressing, and you never really seeing the long-term progress that they want, and maybe they're on the fence about coaching, but not sure. What would you say to either that previous version of yourself or another person in kind of a similar position?
Yeah, I think what I would have to say to myself is, get out of your own way. You don't know everything. There's a lot to learn, there's a lot to experience. And this is a great time to kind of just absorb and soak in and see what you have to offer because a lot of the most profound things that I discovered in this program, I kind of rolled my eyes at first. I thought, I've heard this before. I've seen a version of this before, but I still read through, I still kept going, and I feel like it really resonated with me and changed how I think and feel in ways that I was not expecting.
Mm. Understood. Cool. Thank you for sharing, man. Cool. Well, that was pretty much all I had for us today, man. Michael, I appreciate your time. And again, congrats on all the amazing progress you've seen in the program, man. It's definitely you're a different version than when you started, man. It's
Definitely. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that like that's possible.
yeah, hell yeah, man. And last question, actually, off the top of my
Yeah.
head, the fact that you created this massive transformations to yourself, does it kind of inspire you to set even more kind of like crazy goals for yourself to go for the next level?
Yeah, and I think it kind of ricochets into other areas of your life too. I still have fitness goals for myself. I don't feel like I'm finished. I feel like this is actually the start of my fitness goal, which sounds insane, but like this is where I wanted to start from. So this is the beginning for me again. I'll just be much more well equipped and focused. And I also feel like it bleeds into other areas of your life, which was kind of a surprise to me too, because I thought this is just like fitness and nutrition.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like this vital energy kind of permeates everything.
Yep. 100%. Yeah, once you make that statement to yourself that you can go after it, you can achieve it, you can make it work, it starts to change how you operate in the rest of life as
Well,
well.
you can allow yourself to do it,
Mm,
and then you can believe that you can. So there's like
mm.
two. I don't even think I would allow myself to
Ah,
want.
interesting. Awesome, man. Well, super glad to hear you're allowing yourself to think big and go for it. And that's an awesome place to leave it off. If you're watching this and you kind of resonate with Michael's story and you're a man who's maybe tried some yo-yo dieting, you're trying weight loss, you're not sure what to do, maybe you're trying on your own but just not seeing the success that you want, feel free to DM us the word Elite Self or click the link in our bio to book an application call, and we'll have to see if we can help you out. But besides that, Michael, thanks for hopping on, man. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
And we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.